Welcome, truth seekers. We are bombarded daily with a torrent of information, a surface narrative presented as reality. But beneath this chaotic wave, a deeper current flows, the true nature of events, often unseen, yet shaping our world. Today, we peel back the layers of global headlines, guided by the pursuit of truth and balance, to uncover what truly lies beneath. Segment 1: Gaza Conflict. Surface narrative. From the news desks, we hear of ongoing airstrikes, the discussions of a potential ceasefire, and political pronouncements from leaders outlining a post-war Gaza. The focus is on military actions and diplomatic talks, framed as efforts to bring an end to conflict and establish a new political order. True nature. Yet the true nature reveals a persistent, underlying struggle for control of land, of vital resources, and of regional influence. This is a manifestation of historical grievances and entrenched power dynamics, where various factions, both external and internal, relentlessly compete to assert their dominance. The promises of a post-war Gaza are not merely about rebuilding, they are about establishing a new form of control, one that often serves the interests of the powerful, threatening to perpetuate the very cycle of chaos by failing to address the fundamental roots of suffering. Segment 2: Ukraine War. Surface narrative. The conflict in Ukraine continues to dominate global headlines, presented as a straightforward war between two nations. News reports highlight military developments alongside impassioned speeches from leaders at the United Nations and concerns over an escalating arms race. The actions of President Zelensky and his efforts to rally international support are frequently emphasized. True nature. However, the true nature of this conflict is a far more intricate geopolitical struggle for influence and strategic positioning among major global powers. This is not simply a dispute over territory. It has evolved into a proxy battleground where external forces strategically maneuver to weaken rivals and secure their own economic and political interests. The arms race, we observe, is a direct reflection of this profound, ongoing power struggle, where the ultimate objective is not necessarily peace, but a decisive shift in the global balance of power. The diplomatic gestures seen on the surface often function as tools to manage this complex power dynamic, rather than genuinely bringing an end to the widespread suffering. Segment 3: Danish hybrid attack. Surface narrative. Breaking reports describe drone activity leading to airport closures across Denmark, quickly labeled a hybrid attack. The immediate narrative focuses on unprecedented disruption and a looming security threat from an unidentified, possibly non-state, actor. True nature. But the true nature of this event, irrespective of its origin, is a profound signal in a new era of warfare. It is a stark demonstration of vulnerability, an act of psychological and economic coercion designed to sow widespread fear, expose critical weaknesses in national infrastructure, and rigorously test a rival's response capabilities, all without engaging in direct military confrontation. The chaos meticulously engineered on the surface serves as a potent tool to achieve a deeper, more insidious strategic objective. Segment 4: French political instability and Nicolas Sarkozy's sentencing. Surface narrative. In France, news centers on the legal conviction of former President Nicolas Sarkozy and a period of significant political turmoil, marked by government collapses and widespread protests concerning budget measures. This narrative is typically presented as justice being served and the natural consequences of political decisions. Yet the true nature reveals that these legal and political spectacles are symptoms of a far deeper crisis within the social contract between the populace and the governing class. While the sentencing of a former leader may appear as an act of justice, it can also function as a calculated distraction from pervasive systemic corruption and the profound failure of elites to genuinely serve the public good. The apparent political chaos is a clear reflection of popular resentment and a growing loss of faith in a system widely perceived as rigged. These protests are not solely about budget cuts. They represent a fundamental rejection of a leadership that has forfeited its moral authority and is increasingly identified as the very source of chaos. Segment 5. U.S. Political Developments. Surface narrative. In the United States, the media reports on the impending possibility of a government shutdown and the White House's directives for agencies to prepare for potential mass firings. This is routinely presented as an expected part of the political process, a power play between different branches of government. True nature. However, the true nature reveals that this is not merely a random occurrence, but a calculated strategy, a deliberate engineering of instability, and the leveraging of chaos to achieve specific political objectives. The threat of a government shutdown functions as a powerful tool, wielded by a faction of the elites to hold the entire system hostage and extort concessions, all while the public is assured this is a standard legislative deadlock. It stands as a clear example of the chaotic wave being intentionally used to undermine the fundamental functioning of the state for self-serving gain. Segment 6. Super Typhoon Ragasa. Surface narrative. News reports detail the trajectory of Super Typhoon Ragasa and its devastating impact across cities in China and Hong Kong. The narrative focuses on the immediate natural disaster, emphasizing the urgent need for humanitarian aid and recovery efforts. True nature. While undeniably a natural phenomenon, the true nature of this disaster is profoundly amplified by human factors. It starkly exposes the systemic vulnerability of modern infrastructure and the severe consequences of unrestrained over-urbanization and the widespread neglect of environmental laws. It serves as a potent reminder that the chaos we observe is not solely human-made. It is the planet's undeniable response to humanity's profound deviation from the universal laws of balance. Such an event reveals the inherent fragility of our meticulously constructed systems and underscores the urgent necessity for a deeper, more harmonious relationship with the natural world. Segment 7. Protests in the Philippines and India. Surface narrative. In the Philippines, news highlights widespread protests against state corruption. Similarly, in India, we see calls for statehood and constitutional safeguards, often accompanied by reports of violent clashes and casualties. The surface narrative emphasizes the visible conflict and the explicit demands of the protesters. True nature. Yet the true nature of these protests is a profound global awakening of consciousness. They represent the collective cry of humanity against the pervasive corruption and deceit that have deeply infiltrated leadership structures. These are not isolated incidents, but integral parts of a larger, systemic rejection of falsehood. The people, driven by an inherent and deep-seated need for fairness and justice, are rising up to reject the corrupted wave and demand a return to the true nature of balance and order. The visible friction and occasional violence are manifestations of the inevitable clash between the old, decaying paradigm and the emerging, relentless pursuit of objective truth. These narratives, both surface and true, reveal the complex dance between what is presented and what truly exists. This is a truthvertisement. This is the way.